we have right now?
In order for Puerto Rico to become a state, there has to be a joint resolution from both Congress and the president. I think we both agree that the likelihood of that happening is small. But as far as kind of the right-wing side saying that this is another welfare state, the reason why Puerto Ricans are going through a lot of the economic mess is because of some of the policies that we've implemented there on the island. I mean, they don't get the type of the favorable financing for whether it be infrastructure or incentives. We yanked most of the incentives off the island in 2006, which had a devastating impact and opened the door for these Wall Street banks to come in and start pitching borrowing and debt raising through as a way out of this problem. We have helped create the mess with our policies, and it's time we fix them and give the Puerto Ricans the same type of access to our government and decision-making as the rest of the states have obviously had for hundreds of years.
Peter, as I look at this history, it's almost as if in 2006 we opened the door to every Wall Street thug. I mean, there's no other way to describe these predators. They're Wall Street predators. They are thugs who have taken these people's pension programs, they've taken their life savings, and now they're complaining that, you know, that they didn't have anything to, they had nothing to do with the financial state of Puerto Rico. They had nothing to do with the potential of bankruptcy here. What is your take? How bad was the predatory system that was coming directly from the United States Wall Street when we let these criminals, these banking criminals, go down to Puerto Rico and do what they wanted to do? What's your take?
Well, I tell you what, another example, we opened the door for allowing some of this to happen. The 1940 Act, which is the act that prohibits affiliated transactions within companies. So if you take Santander that you mentioned or some of the other broker-dealers on the island, it alleviates those Chinese walls. So it just put fertilizer down. It planted the fields for this type of conduct where these firms came in and recommended debt. Well, why did they recommend they issue so much debt? Because they made fees on the underwriting deals. They were underwriters. They were consultants for these deals. They put them in their own closed-end funds and they sold them to their own clients. That's illegal on the mainland, but it's not illegal in Puerto Rico. Why? Because 1940, when the Investment Advisor Act was implemented, that seemed so far away and remote that we couldn't police them. So we've never updated those protection policies to protect investors, which opened the door for Wall Street to come in, issue bonds, $1.6 billion in fees, Pap, over the last several years before this thing blew up. Wall Street firms made on fees, syndicate, spreads, you name it. Absolutely unbelievable what we've allowed to go on down there. And now who's left holding the bag? Puerto Rican citizens that are left standing there with their investments blown up and their island policies, economic policies in shambles.